Hello, my name is Stuart Muscat, and recently I've been posting videos about VSCO and an add-in to Microsoft Project for project managers in a small company or just a few project managers working together in a boutique, for example. But let's make no mistake, I am from an enterprise background, and this video is more about large-scale enterprise project management. Not for an organisation necessarily in IT systems. It could be a bunch of architects working together. It could be engineers. It could be shop fitters. Anything that springs to mind that is professional services, maybe a group of consultants selling their skills, implementing custom off-the-shelf systems like SAP or Oracle or something like that, or a legal team, for example, working out on a remote island somewhere in an exotic location. That would be good. If there's a job there, then give us a call. Or a team of accountants working on a project. It could be absolutely anything with project management. So here's a presentation all about enterprise thinking, and I don't have a professional video kit, so I'm fronting the video with me here, and the rest of it is just a PowerPoint presentation. So hope you like it. If you do, get in touch, and maybe there's some tie-up or some collaboration in the future. Maybe I can help you decide on how to architect and implement your systems. I've implemented Project Online. I've passed things like PPE3 examinations, which is another project management tool that we implemented and integrated with SAP and a system called EU Supply, online contract management. So that was all done for BNFL in about 2004. I did all the processes for that. Okay, so anyway, hope you're having fun being a project organisation, and I hope you find this video useful. Alright, so in a project-based organisation, central to everything will be project management, and key to that will be project planning, but also resource management from a single resource pool. So you could have a portfolio of projects, but all the resources that you're going to use on your projects need to be in one pool so that you can see where they're working at any one time, and you get some really good tools for that. Microsoft Project's pretty good at that, and what I find is that you need to find a way of working. Anyway, in a large scale enterprise organisation, you might have several project managers, and the nice thing about large enterprise organisations, you get defined roles for the systems, and you tend to have quite big systems, so on here is we could have a requirements management system. There's one called DOORS, or a lot of people would run that with Excel, requirements management with Excel, but big companies often use DOORS. By definition, a project-based organisation are likely to be low volume and will often use contract management systems, so engage with ITTs and put the bid in for the ITT, invitation to tender, and go through maybe a closed bid auction. Obviously you can tell I know about these kinds of things, done that already, implemented that sort of thing. And companies that are doing, say, big project management over many years, say a decommissioning of a nuclear power station, for example, they might have stage releases, and then they get the sales order coming through. Still have a sales order going into the account system, and then the account system, you'll get your project coding, and the project coding is really the formal initiation of the project. Obviously in the Prince 2 world, or whatever project methodology you want to use, you write your own mandate and get it signed off, or somebody writes it for you, and then
breaking the work into sprints or releases or work packages, depending on how you work and depending what fits your organisation. And then when you can hand that down to operations management to do the daily management, and maybe in an agile environment you get Kanbans, and maybe Jira is the operations management. Alternatively, if you're in software development, you might use tools that manage the product release, manage the code, so you get continuous integration. And then our people do their tasks that they've been assigned and report time and expenses. The account system will know about on-hand inventory, and people report the materials used. Now this bit here, the time and expenses recording, is often quite interesting because should it sit in the accounts and inventory management? Well, I would say no, because you tend to get an aggregation of all your project tasks, and at this level we want some detail. It doesn't want to be just one code, which is okay for invoicing, but not much use for when you're trying to track actuals in your project plan. So yeah, we want to, for me, it's all about, you know, for the large consultancy will teach on the training courses about winning the business, doing the business, and then getting paid for the business. So that's why I think we should track these things. So the one thing we've got to do is architect these systems with one owner. So there's only one instance of the truth, you know. Now that's not always possible because you know, you've got a project plan, that's some data is replicated, and the invoice will probably, like I say, be aggregated, and the project manager then needs to keep a handle on how that invoice, when the payment's made, how that invoice is apportioned to the project. So the updates for the hours, the various budget hours, the actual hours, the invoice hours, you know, many you could have paid hours as well in there. You know, it depends how far you want to go and what's important to your business. But I think there's a middle system, business intelligence, you know, so doing the collecting the data but analysing it, doing some sort of prediction of our projects and our business, you know. Also important for me is this risk and issues management. I think that comes down from the business, and it's very critical for finance companies in particular. So our risks should always be keyed back, our project risk should always be keyed back to a company risk, you know, so like a higher, especially an enterprise situation. And for me, this is for me, not for everyone. Anyone should be able to report risks and issues. So CRAID stands for constraints, risks, assumptions, issues, and dependencies. I shan't go into all that. So, but then you've got issues around security, especially if you involve your customers in your risk process. Yeah, so that is it in a nutshell. But the last thing to say really is to you want to bring all your data together in a considered way, so that your steering group, your executives and your directors, or your people that you know, the sponsor of the project in a Prince 2 world, see what's most important. They tend to like red, amber, green reports of the top 5 things on one page sort of thing. So the nice thing about business intelligence tools like Power BI or any other one that you can think of, so I'm not prescriptive in any way. You'll get maybe Oracle over here, maybe some other third-party system, contract management, time and recording system. It tends to be purchased on, it could be even standalone and purchased on the user interface, how easy it is to use, and record receipts and anything else that's going there. So what I'm doing in my later videos, though, I am looking at just the smaller company. So I'm looking at the way we collect information straight in. You won't have necessarily, you probably have an account system like Sage, and you can integrate through flat files and CSV files, comma delimited files, which is what my add-in does. The piece that I've done is a project add-in that squirts information through CSV files into Power BI, but it's not prescriptive. The same data could be squirted into something else. I'm not a great advocate of macros. In fact, when I created the add-in for the Microsoft project, I started with macros because there's nothing out there for project add-ins. It's very difficult to find anything. So get something going in a macro and then convert it into C#, into the VSTO, and then publish from there. So going back to my bullet points, this schematic could apply to any project organisation, large or small, but really this is about the larger organisation and more formal systems. It could be a product-based organisation or a service organisation. So what do I mean by that? We could be building bridges, our housing estate, or anything, you know. Machines going into a robotic production line, it doesn't matter, or services in terms of paid by the hour, accountants, you know, or solicitors, or software developers, anything. We want one version of the truth, but the one thing about this is I've seen at companies, I can't mention names of companies because of business ownership and intellectual property ownership, and they don't like you talking about them, so yeah. But what I've seen is sometimes you get your business intelligence pulling data from databases that are quite large and are 2 days, the data is already 2 days old or 1 day old. Well, that's not great. You know, it might be okay for reporting to the steering group, but really we want to minimize time lags. And in the small company environment, you know, macros or maybe you do have an API layer, you know. So, but the sooner you can get onto some kind of RESTful services, if you need to know about integration standards and RESTful services or anything else, just reach out and I'll answer your questions. Yeah, this is about project-based organisation processes, and a quick run around the map. I've obviously missed some systems off, but these are the key processes. And if you're designers and you're not thinking about these in these terms, I mean, why do it? And it's because you want a competitive advantage. So you don't want to lag behind. I'm not trying to, you know, I'm trying to spread a positive vibe here. So it's important to get information to hand so that you can be keep on top of your business and be more effective than your competitors, and add the best value at least cost that you possibly can, and that is quality, isn't it? Okay, so thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.